Be still. Do not rush past this moment. Do not let your mind wander forward. Do not reach for anticipation or comfort. Be still. Because stillness is the first discipline. And discipline always comes before power. Before another thought moves through your mind, become still. Completely. Not physically alone, but inwardly silent. Because what you are about to hear is not designed to motivate you, entertain you, or soothe you. It is designed to confront you, not gently, not emotionally, but truthfully. Another year approaches, quietly, unannounced, unconcerned with your readiness. And with it comes the familiar noise, the same noise that has followed you year after year. Promises spoken with hope but lacking command. Plans written with enthusiasm but abandoned without consequence. Resolutions made publicly and broken privately. Hopes dressed as intentions. Dreams disguised as discipline. You recognize this noise. You have lived inside it. You have heard these words before. You have spoken them before. Sometimes aloud, sometimes only in the secrecy of your own thoughts. And if you are honest, brutally honest, you already know how most of them end. They end quietly, without drama, without collapse. They simply fade. Most lives do not collapse. They stall. Most lives do not fail dramatically. They repeat. That is the part no one warns you about. Time does not destroy most people. Repetition does. The calendar moves forward, but the man does not. Days pass, weeks close, years conclude, but the inner posture remains unchanged. The seasons rotate faithfully, but the identity stays fixed in place. New years arrive with ceremony, but the same fears are waiting patiently. The same habits remain seated at the table. The same delays are justified with new language. The same quiet disappointment settles in, unseen, unspoken, but deeply felt. That disappointment is heavy because it has no witness. No one else hears it. No one else carries it. It lives entirely within you. This is the grave opening truth. One few are willing to face. Time has never transformed a human being. Not once, not ever. Time does not shape character. Time does not create discipline. Time does not deliver purpose. Time only reveals who a man already decided to be. And most people never decide. They hope, they wish, they imagine. They plan vaguely, carefully leaving room for retreat. They speak softly to themselves, as if afraid to wake the authority that sleeps inside them. And then they wait. They wait for motivation to arrive. They wait for confidence to appear. They wait for circumstances to soften. They wait for luck to notice them. They wait for the world to change its tone before they change their posture. And when nothing changes, when the year closes and the mirror remains honest, they blame the year. They say the year was difficult. They say the timing was wrong. They say the world was unfair. They say they will try again next time. But the year was never the problem. The problem was never time. It was never opportunity. It was never resources. It was never intelligence. The problem was authority. Here is the harsh truth you must face if 2026 is to be different. Truly different, not cosmetically altered. Nothing outside of you has the authority to alter your life. Nothing, not motivation. Motivation is emotional and temporary. It arrives and departs without permission. Not inspiration. Inspiration excites, but it does not command. Not opportunity. Opportunity appears for everyone. Only the decisive act, not circumstances. Circumstances obey inner posture, not the other way around. Not pain. Pain teaches nothing unless authority interprets it. Not even time itself. Time is neutral. It rewards no one. It punishes no one. It simply passes. Motivation fades. Luck is unreliable. And resolutions collapse for one simple reason: they are negotiated, not commanded. A man who negotiates with himself is already defeated. Negotiation implies doubt. It implies hesitation. It implies that authority is divided. Life does not respond to need. It does not respond to hope. It does not respond to emotion. It does not respond to desire spoken without decision. Life responds only to decision, and not the weak kind, the kind spoken in private and abandoned in comfort. Not the kind that sounds convincing at night and disappears in the morning. Life responds to the kind of decision that ends debate, the kind that silences inner argument, the kind that no longer asks permission from fear, the kind that draws a line so final that retreat becomes impossible. Until that moment arrives, every year will resemble the last. Different dates, same identity. Now listen carefully. Every true beginning demands a death. There is no exception to this law. There is no alternate path. There is no shortcut. You cannot carry the old self into a new life. You cannot keep the same identity, the same emotional reflexes, the same excuses, the same internal negotiations, and expect a different destiny to obey you. Destiny does not negotiate. The man you have been must be buried, not improved, not adjusted, not polished, not motivated, buried. This is not symbolic language meant to sound dramatic. It is structural truth. There must be a funeral in your mind, a deliberate ending, a conscious separation. You must separate from the version of you that hesitated, from the version that delayed action waiting for confidence, from the version that chose comfort over command, from the version that knew what was required and postponed obedience. That version of you must be laid in the ground, chains still on his wrists, excuses still in his mouth, unfinished intentions still clutched in his hands. And you must walk away without explanation, without sentiment, without nostalgia. Because if the old identity is allowed to stand again, if it is permitted even a small voice, it will climb back onto the throne. And once it does, nothing changes. New years do not fail people. People fail to leave themselves behind. Now pause here. Do not rush forward. Look backward, not with emotion, not with regret, not with shame, but with clarity. How many times did you know what to do and did not do it? How many moments required courage and received delay instead? How many days were wasted not by ignorance, but by hesitation? You knew. You always knew. The pain did not come from confusion. It came from disobedience to your own understanding. So do not ask why things did not change. Ask why you refused to decide. Ask yourself, slowly, honestly, without defense, how long have you been preparing to begin? How long have you been almost ready? How many tomorrows have already died waiting for your courage? And then ask the most dangerous question of all. If nothing changes, if you continue exactly as you are, how many more years will disappear exactly like this one? There is a law operating here, whether you respect it or not. Life changes by law, not by chance. This law does not care about your feelings. It does not soften for your circumstances. It does not pause for your fear. The law is simple, but severe. That which you do not command, you obey. If you do not command your habits, they command you. If you do not command your thoughts, they rule your emotions. If you do not command your time, it dissolves. You are either the authority in your own mind, or you are a subject ruled by impulse, fear, and repetition. There is no middle ground. And understand this clearly, there are not many goals required. There is not a list. There is not complexity. Complexity is often cowardice disguised as intelligence. There is one decree, one inner order that ends the old discussion forever. A decree is not a wish. It is not emotional. It does not ask for agreement. It does not ask how you feel. A decree is spoken once and then obeyed. Here is the decree. Hear it as law, not language. I decide who I am, and I act accordingly without negotiation. Nothing more, nothing less. This decree must be repeated, not loudly, but firmly, until it replaces instinct, until doubt no longer answers back, until action follows thought without delay. This is where mental discipline begins. You must purify your inner environment. Every undisciplined thought is an intruder. Every fearful question is a challenge to your authority. Every excuse spoken silently is an act of self-betrayal. You do not argue with fear. You remove it. You do not negotiate with doubt. You silence it. Your inner dialogue must become brief, calm, and final. Few words, clear commands, no drama. The disciplined mind does not shout. It issues orders. This is how men of history move the world. Edison did not persist because he felt inspired. He decided to persist, and obedience followed. Ford did not wait for approval. He decided, and the world adjusted. Carnegie did not hope for wealth. He commanded a vision and organized men and thought around it. Lincoln did not know the outcome. He knew his decision and stood inside it while history tested him. They were not ruled by emotion. They were ruled by definiteness. And when definiteness enters a man, something silent changes. Others sense it without explanation. Your voice becomes slower. Your words become fewer. Your actions become precise. You stop announcing plans. You stop seeking validation. You stop explaining yourself, because authority does not explain. You will notice people respond differently, not because you demanded respect, but because indecision has left you. Calm replaces urgency. Stillness replaces noise. Direction replaces confusion. This is transformation without spectacle. And now understand this final law. Destiny does not respond to wishes. It does not respond to emotion. It does not respond to hope disguised as effort. Destiny responds only to command. The year will not decide your future. The world will not decide it. Circumstances will not decide it. Only the man who issues an inner verdict shapes what comes next. So if 2026 is to be different, something must end today. Not later, not gradually, today. Let the old identity remain in its grave. Let the new one rise without apology. Because life does not wait for readiness. It answers only to authority.